My name's Clarissa, and I live in Bellingham, Washington. I'm personally connected to a number of families who are in Gaza, families who are trying to survive the ongoing accelerated genocide. I've been trying to bridge the gap between my connection to Palestine and my daily life here in Bellingham, trying to collapse the distance of time and space and bring these families closer to my community, closer to anyone I can reach, closer to any source of support I can find. One way I've been doing this is through presentations that I developed in collaboration with these families who are in Gaza, the families that I'm closest to, presentations with photos and images and videos and audio recordings and writing from the families themselves, things they have generously shared with me so that I can share them with others. It's through these presentations I've sought to amplify their voices, to foster personal connections, and to raise both awareness and material support for the families, and to inspire others in my community to take actions in their own lives to end the genocide in Palestine. I've also been writing and publishing online, talking to people in online spaces, sending emails to my expanding network of friends and families, colleagues, and community members. I've spoken to some local media. I've shown up at community events. I've hosted fundraisers in collaboration with friends who I've met along the way as the network of support has grown, and together we've been doing whatever we can in whatever space we can find. So I've been doing this on behalf of these 8 families in Gaza, these families who have for me become like my family too. But I've also been doing this for the families who I don't know, the families I've yet to meet, the ones I may never know, who also need and deserve our support and our fight to keep them alive and to do more to end the genocide. And I've also been doing this for Palestinians in Gaza who I talk to, who have been asking us every day to share their words, to speak about them, and to make sure people understand what is really happening, what is being done to them, to push back against the bias and the anti-Palestinian racism that is so pervasive in Western and American media and culture, and to challenge the many racist lies with the truth, to not let our fears or insecurities stop us from doing what is right, and to do all we can to shift the attention of the world to where it should be, to Palestine, and to actions that will help keep people alive, actions that will end the genocide, actions that we need to take now. The first time I gave the public presentation, 8 families in Gaza amplifying their voices, was also the first day of Israel's reimposition of the complete and total illegal blockade, designed to impose forced starvation and suffering on the Palestinian people in Gaza. I ended my presentation that day by saying how important it was that we continue to provide as much direct financial support as possible to the families who were trying to survive amidst the genocide, explaining how dire things were even before the imposition of this total siege. But now it's August 2025, and it's hard for me to comprehend how 5 months have passed since that presentation, and we still have not been able to end the blockade and stop the violence. In recent weeks, I've been asked by many people if I can share more of what I have been talking about during the presentations, more of what I've been talking about in my community online, either in a streaming format, like an online event or a recorded video. And I've been giving this a lot of thought because I do want to expand our capacity and our reach, but I have to do it in a way that makes sure I'm always honoring the comfort, the privacy, the lives of those who I'm trying to center and support. So because of this, I'm not going to create any content that can be recorded or shared that features them specifically without their involvement or participation and consent. And right now, they are not in a position to be able to consider something like this because every moment of their lives is literally a battle for survival. I think there are still ways I can try to help amplify some of the things I talk about during the presentations, however, and so I'm going to try to develop some resources that can be viewed and shared by those who are interested but unable to make it to one of the in-person presentations. This is the beginning of that effort. It's an introduction of sorts, a message for this particular moment in time, an attempt to reach more people in new ways. My approach to the communications I've created and developed and shared about Palestinians in Gaza is one that tries to center the voices of those who I'm trying to support, while also simultaneously respecting their privacy and autonomy as much as possible. I want to acknowledge that for the families who I have this honor of speaking about, even their collaboration and consent, even if it's based in mutual friendship and high regard, it is still given under duress because it's because of the genocide they are compelled to share personal details of their lives, of their suffering, of their experiences, in the hopes that what they share will lead to the survival of their families. There are also personal vulnerabilities and risks that must be considered for Palestinians in Gaza whenever they speak up and speak out. And this is also something I am always mindful of. Even with everything they have shared and given to us, it has still not been enough for them to receive the support they require and deserve, or to shift the attention of the world sufficiently to compel us to take the actions that we need to take to end the genocide. This genocidal war has been and continues to be a war on the Palestinian people, a war on their land, a war on their culture, a war on their animals, their livelihoods, their homes, their belongings, their hopes, their dreams, their families, their beloveds, their very existence. What is happening, what has been happening, what continues to go on, is nothing short of an annihilation, and it's getting worse. When I look outside my window at the beautiful blue sky on this lovely summer day in Bellingham, when I hear the birds singing, and when I see people outside going about their lives, enjoying their daily routines, it is really hard to reconcile the incongruity between my immediate environment and the proximity I feel in my head and heart to the people in Gaza. So wherever I am, I have been asking that we make the connection here and now between our lives, between whatever we are doing in this moment, wherever we may be, in Gaza, where nearly 2 million people are being besieged, not just by bombs, weapons, massacres, and unyielding violence and cruelty that the United States government is enabling, supplying, encouraging, but also the violence of forced starvation. Gaza has been and is still in the worst and most critical phase of a human-made famine. It's the phase referred to as Phase 5, where the physical bodies and mental health of those who somehow survive will have irreversible damage that will impact them for the rest of their lives. Every single family I talk to every day is literally starving right now. They aren't just starving, they're being starved by this country. They are in urgent need of more support. This famine is not because of a natural disaster. It's human-made. It's being deliberately inflicted upon an entire population. People are dying every day. They are collapsing in the street. Starving parents have been giving their children water with salt instead of food, and water is getting more difficult to find and obtain. Despite what the American-made propaganda would have you believe, the GHF American distribution sites are death traps, where starving people searching for food for their families are being brutally murdered by Israelis and Americans every day. Every single family I talk to has lost family members and loved ones who have been murdered while being starved and who have gone in search of food for their families. Flour has become something people risk their lives and die for every day. People have said that what food they can find comes at the cost of the lives of those who did not survive. It is flour tainted with blood, food soaked in grief, and no one has been able to stop this yet. There is a sense of urgency I feel acutely every second of every day as more people are killed every moment, whether by bombs and missiles, forced starvation, untreated illnesses and injuries caused by the intentional targeting of the healthcare system and its staff, or the after effects of extreme trauma. We are losing more people every day, and because of this violence, because of the American and Israeli genocide of the Palestinian people. So while what we are doing, what we have been doing matters, while what we do means something, it's not enough. It hasn't been enough. And we have to find new ways to do more. Sometimes I hear people in this country refer to those in power. And I know what we mean when we say this, but I try to ask that we resist this framing and not succumb to a notion that makes us believe we are powerless. I've been asking people to not let a sense of helplessness immobilize them, to not sustain the mistaken belief that we're somehow absolved from responsibility just because we are not rich or politically connected, we don't have the power that we're thinking of. That's a certain kind of power that we are pushing against, but that doesn't mean that we are powerless. Every single one of us has power of some kind in every space that we're in, and it is on each of us to recognize this and use the power that we have. We must not hide from this. Our dominant culture in the U.S. teaches us that it is somehow noble to focus primarily on our own individual lives, to find our own happiness, to focus only on taking care of ourselves, to not worry about other people who are far away. This is an illusion. One, that there are other people who are far away, are not connected to us, is a fallacy. And it's an emphasis intended to keep us feeling both complacent and trapped in an illusion of helplessness. It's an illusion we must break. I've been asking people who don't know where to start where they are, to look at the spaces that you're in, to think about what opportunities you have, what opportunities you can create, how to be visible, how to speak up, how to speak out, how to bring this awareness with you into every space. I don't think that we should have to say something like, what if it was your mother? What if it was your father? What if it was your child? What if it was your sister or brother? Because we should care. We should care about people, even people we don't know who aren't related to us in a familial way. But some people can't do that, or they struggle to do that. And so I guess if it is helpful, think about it. What if it was? What if it was your family? Because it is. It should be. You should be looking at it in this way. And if it is, what would you do? What would you give? What would you change to protect them, to stop them from being killed, to make sure they had freedom and justice and support? This is what we need. This is what we need to be doing. This is what we need to be thinking. This is what I'm trying to help people understand with these presentations that I've been giving. We can and we should be doing everything. We must. We're not the ones who are trapped and starving in Gaza. We are the ones living in the country responsible for inflicting the mass death and cruelty and unbearable suffering on those who are besieged and trapped in Gaza, and those who are doing all they can to try to survive while enduring horrors that we cannot even comprehend. So there should be more we could be doing, and we need to figure out what that is. Time isn't something that we have. The U.S. and Israel are expanding the illegal occupation, the military presence, the violence. They're escalating the violence against Palestinian families, the mass murder, all while still preventing food from reaching those who are being starved. Things have never been more urgent or more dire, and those of us who are here in this country, we owe the Palestinian people who are fighting for their survival everything. We owe them everything. So thank you for watching this and for sharing it and trying to find ways in your own life to do more, to end the genocide, to transform this world into one that makes true the belief in the possibility and necessity of collective liberation, a world with people who are not afraid to take the actions necessary to make this possibility a reality. For those local to Bellingham, please reach out to me if you would like to connect with me, if you want to talk about anything more, if you have ideas, if you want to get connected to the Whatcom Coalition for Palestine, find out about local opportunities. And for anyone who may be watching this from anywhere, you can also find more updates and resources and information on my blog, veganinbellingham.com. Most importantly, I ask that you please donate to support the families who I've been speaking about. You can find links to their campaign pages online, as well as links to more families too at my Linktree. Any campaign I have included on my Linktree are people that I know personally. They're people that I communicate with regularly. They're families I've been supporting myself, trying to support however I can. Over the course of these past 5 months, through donations collected at fundraising events and presentations, tabling, through personal networks, through friendships, the Bellingham community, through me and others, has managed to raise and send over $19,000 to families in Gaza, which does not include the direct donations that individual community members have been making directly to families' campaign pages themselves. This support and all of our efforts have helped materially and also in terms of morale, helps demonstrate to Palestinians who have felt abandoned by the world that many of us care deeply, that we know how important they are, that we want them to survive. And while in some ways this is an impressive amount and it has made a difference, to put things in perspective, most families need between $150 to $300 minimum per day to meet the barest of minimal requirements for survival. So when you look at it as that, you can see, while what we have done is helping, it's also a drop in the ocean, and much, much more support is needed. So we need to keep giving our support, and we need to keep trying to find more people to join us, and we must keep doing everything we can to pressure our government and our institutions to end the siege, to lift the illegal blockade, to end the genocide. This is just the first video in a series that I am going to create and share in the hopes that maybe these resources can help expand the network of support and commitment that has been growing slowly and steadily. I wish to accelerate this growth, to reach more people, and to find stronger ways of making an impact. The next video in this series will offer a version of the content featured specifically in the in-person presentations, but while protecting the privacy of the families who are featured in the in-person presentations. And I hope you'll also watch that one, and I hope you will be as engaged as you can be. Thank you so much.